Yes, give it up for our very own Seaside band, everybody. Good morning, Seaside. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so lovely to see all your faces. It's my honor to be able to sing to us this morning. We are one family, one life, one love. We are one community, one race. Let's rise above. We are we are we are one expression, one peace, like a dove. We are one spirit, one source. I am enough. We are we are we are we are
Beautiful, Rebecca. Thank you very much. And good morning, Seaside. Woo, what a joy it is to be with you. And all of you at home, thank you for being with us today. We know you're there and can feel your love and support. And did you realize today is International Laughter Day? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. If
We
they
should
weren't
be
wearing,
every day.
It should be. I think so. Hey, if everybody was not wearing masks, I'd have you raise your hand, stand up, and laughing and having a good time. And but anyway, we'll be a little bit more cautious, possibly. Yeah, but yeah, I hope they're trust.
We can chuckle.
Inside. Okay. We got to stop, right?
Okay, sorry.
Okay. No. Anyways, I'm already having fun with all of you. This is great. Anyway, hey, what you up to?
Gosh, just getting back to some sense of normalcy. It's incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
once things have been lifted, it's kind of like it went from like a little trickle of gigs, and now it's people really want music again. So I'm just
Out late
so
last night
grateful.
again?
Out late last night. but
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
worth it, and I hope that's the same for all my musician friends. I mean, we're all just
That's
we're
good.
just so grateful. So
Yep, that's
Yeah.
good. You'll be in bed early for Mother's Day, right?
no, I will actually be in Phoenix for Mother's
Oh,
Day. So I won't
man.
even be here. Next Sunday's gonna be the first Sunday I'm gonna miss you all.
In like a year.
In over a year, I have a
No,
travel
that's a
tour.
good run. You know?
Yeah.
You've been good to us. We're going to miss you.
I'm gonna miss you
Travel
too.
safe. Give our love to your mom because she's here every year with you.
Definitely will. Yes, she
we're gonna
is.
miss
So
that.
we're gonna be sure to celebrate
Yeah,
early.
tell her she owes me.
Okay, you.
Oh, that's it.
I will.
Anyway, I'll tell you what, who takes good care of us here is the wonderful teacher of our practitioners. Deb Sadler has 4 practitioner interns that are doing their licensing exam this week. She has guided them for the last 4 years. They're in their final week before the licensing test. Deb Sadler, great job with that. Take us to a deeper place. Deb Sadler.
Good morning, Seaside. It's so fun to be here. I am going to light the candle to symbolize the divine spark that exists within each one of us that connects us to the whole and to the oneness of all life. And next, I'm going to sound the singing bowl, which is going to bring us all into a frequency of coherence. I'd like to invite you to join me in the stillness. There is one creative source that lives, moves, and has its being in all there is. There's only one power, one presence, one mind. For there is a universal intelligence that is everywhere present, and it is always creating out of itself. And it is a power and a presence for good. And I am one with this divine intelligence that moves in, through, and as me. And as this is true for me, this is true for each one here and each one following us in the virtual reality. For we are each remarkable, talented, creative individuals expressing the divine intelligence that exists within each one of us. And I know that as we move through this service today, that each one of us is reminded of the power of creativity that exists within each one of us and the oneness that connects us as a community and as a global unit. And I know that Dr. Christian's words will inspire us to be the greatest expression of the magnificence, which is the truth of who and what we each are individually and collectively.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. I'm going to try moving out here so I get a little better light. There we go. Now I can see all of you really well. Oh, it's so good to have you here. Hey, you know what? Pull out your phone, pull out your cell phone and check in. Let people know that we're here, that we're open, that you can come to Seaside 9 or 11. No reservations required. So check in and let your friends and family know that we are here at Seaside. And you're here at Seaside. Glad that you are.
And you can watch it live, YouTube.
And they can watch it live. Look at Dr. Christian talking from over there. I'm like, where's that sound coming from? Yes. We love you on our online audience, and we're so grateful that we get to continue to live stream out to you at 11 o'clock every Sunday, because we would have half of our people, you know. You guys are become part of our Seaside family, even though some of you we've never met in person, but you are part of our family. Let's see, I have a couple of announcements today before we go right into the reading. What I want to say is today is Basic Beliefs. The first Sunday of every month, I'll do a Basic Beliefs class. We didn't do it last month because it was Easter. So I'm sorry if you were wanting to come the first Sunday of last month, but we are doing it today. It's at 12:30. It's on Zoom for right now. We may bring it back in person sometime, but for right now we're on Zoom. Just go to the website, click on the link. If you get the daily or the weekly swag, you've got the link in there as well. And join me. I know you probably have to hurry to get home to be there in time for 12:30, so that's why we do it a little bit later. But what it is it's just a really informal 45-minute class about the basic beliefs of science of mind, what we believe, who we are, and so if you're new to it or if you've never taken a class or you're still wondering is this really a match for me? Do these guys believe what I believe and so on and so forth? Join us because that's a good time to ask your questions and to see if we're a match. Also, this week is my Wednesday night up. There's 4 of us that are sharing the Wednesday night Connect. We call it Wednesday night Connect. And it's a time to come together and connect again with your Seaside family midweek. Again, it's on Zoom. It's at 7 o'clock Wednesday night. And I am talking about this adventure called life. So that's what we'll be talking about on Wednesday night. I talk a little. We do some Q&A, so you get to participate. So join us. We do a little meditation. So it's fun. Let's see, as you probably noticed as you walked in, we have some books on tables in the social hall in the family area, and we're having a used book sale. Thank you to the Seaside sisters. Callie and her sisters came out, and anybody else that helped yesterday. Thank you so much. We did have it yesterday. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And they're helping today as well. We decided to keep it up so all of you could continue to buy the book. All year long, we have gotten donations for used books. And next Sunday, we're opening our bookstore. So we needed to get those books out of there. Yeah, this bookstore will be open next Sunday for Mother's Day. So, and we're going to have coffee after service next week, after second service. So, we're slowly opening up. And one of the things, listening to whatever the rules are, whoever governs us. I'm not exactly sure one day to another, but what the new thing is that you all, the people in our audience, are now allowed to sing. You are allowed to do affirmations. You are allowed to, do whatever it is that you want to do. You do have to keep your mask on, unfortunately, but you're allowed to talk now, so that's a very good thing. So we're excited about that. And we slowly get a little bit closer to the stage. We're allowed to come a little bit closer, so things are opening up. And because things are opening up, what we really would love is for our volunteers to unite and come back. Our office is open now. We have availability for people that want to help answer the phones or just work around the office. If you'd like to work in the bookstore, if you'd like to be an usher greeter on a Sunday, see me after service. I would love to just get your name. If you can't find me, you can, the girls at the bookstore table, you can just give them your name perhaps and they can jot it down for me. So we can just start gather our volunteers back. We'd love to have you. So today, I am going to be reading from Science of Mind May magazine. It's this one right here. Reverend David Alexander's on the cover with his beautiful wife. And the daily guides are written, those of you probably know that have the Science of Mind subscription, or you can get it digitally as well. And each month, somebody's invited to write the daily guides. And for May, we have this really incredible minister that has written the daily guides. Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen has done the May Science of Mind magazine. So yes. So I brought in 40 copies of the magazine. First service bought a lot of them. I had to go get the rest out of the box. They're out there on the table. They're flat $5. Just go ahead. There's a kind of a heart-shaped Lycra box out there. You just put your $5 in and take a magazine, and be sure to read along with us throughout the month. So we're blessed to have Dr. Christian. I think he had an article coming out later this year too, right? He's a pretty prolific writer. If you all know that, right? Yeah. Okay. Dr. Christian's talk title today is Wholeness. I'm going to read from not today's page. It's a surprise. It's later on in the month. Wholeness brings healing. The goal is understanding not to know, but rather be possessed by that which is, and to be unified in consciousness with being absolute. No more content with shadows, but with creative light. No more the mirror nor the parallel, but full identity with prototypes. and that is from Ernest Holmes, The Voice Celestial. One of the fundamental principles of religious science is wholeness. The world is looking for healings because there is a belief there is something to fix. Hence the desire to change this outer picture. Wholeness is revealing the spiritual truth that already exists at the center. Express wholeness and everything unlike it dissolves into the nothingness from which it came. Do you make a tarnished pot silver by polishing it, or do you reveal its silver truth? Where there is discord, don't look at it. Look through it to see the divine prototype. Healing is not brought about through the power of thought. Mental power is not spiritual. Thought is the avenue through which the power moves, and the spiritual awareness is known. Healing happens when you become still and feel the presence to the point where there is no longer any otherness. This is when specific healings happen, because anything unlike spirit cannot remain in the vibration of the spiritual truth of wholeness. It's not that my thought is greater than that's what's being thought about in the discordant condition. It's that there is only one power, which is God. This is not a power over anything, it's the power. Knowing this is what must be embodied for it to express in the here and now. The omniscient knows what is needed in the situation that is near and dear to your heart. Get your tarnished perspective out of the divine way. Yes, and so it is. God bless you. Have a beautiful Sunday.
Ooh, that's a powerful reading. Aren't we so blessed to have the minister here that wrote that? We get to hear that message on a regular basis. Wow. Well, good morning, Seaside. It is my honor on Sunday mornings to introduce our guest artist. And today we have a brand new guest. She's never been here before as our guest, and we're just so blessed. And how divine is it? Not only is she an incredible singer, she actually also is a comedian. So for her to be here on International Laugh Day, I mean, isn't that serendipitous? So she has a comedy album that just came out, so just make sure to follow her on her website, rosemarywatson.com. And she's going to bless us this morning with a couple really wonderful songs. So without further ado, let's give a warm Seaside welcome to Miss Rosemary Watson.
Thank you. You're welcome. This is a song I wrote not too long ago. It's called Wake Up. And every morning you hear the alarm clock go off, and you get to choose. You get to choose in this life whether you're going to serve love or whether you're going to serve fear. Open your mind.
band.
And this is Rosemary Watson. They have finally finding your way down to Seaside, a long-time religious scientist. So welcome. About time you found us. We've been waiting for you. That is great. All right, so gosh, love that reading from today. That was just like so perfect. Actually, the whole month is Holy Uprising. When I had to write about that, I hadn't a clue what they were talking about. But I showed them what they intended to say. Anyway, today is about wholeness. Wholeness is one of those fundamental principles of religious science. But it has really become a buzzword that's out there these days. You know, you got your whole being. You've got your holistic approach. You've got your holistic medicine. You got the whole person going on. I mean, wholeness is definitely one of those buzzwords. But the thing is, it seems to connote that it's a choice. You know, maybe it is a choice with the medicine and the food, but the choice about your being whole and in body or spirit and soul, that's not a choice. You are perfect, whole, and complete now. You are a whole expression of God that is ever available. The Spirit is in and through you. Always, the full expression is omnipresent. It's omnipotent. The power is there, and it is ready to express itself in you all the time. But yet we have this sense, I've got to reach out there. I got to pull it in. I got to get this piece over there to make myself whole, and that's not the story, guys. We are whole now, and that's where our healing comes from. And so this morning's message is inspired from this book we've been working on this year. It's called Our Moment of Choice, and it's put together by 40 of the great contemporary evolutionary leaders of our time, created this anthology. And the particular chapter I'm working on today is called Wholeness. And one of our local guys, Deepak Chopra, wrote this. And I'd like to share with you a piece that I picked that I could understand. Because sometimes he's a little more brilliant than I am. But this one seems to be eloquent enough to understand. And he talks about people. Suppose that wholeness is a choice when it really isn't. Wholeness is everything. It is the one, the all, the Brahma, as it is known in the Vedic India philosophy. Being whole, it cannot be accepted or rejected. Neither can it be lost. To choose wholeness is like saying, I choose not to exist yesterday and I've decided to exist today. Another non-intuitive implication that surprises almost everyone is that you cannot relate to wholeness. Between two separate things, there can only be a relationship. Wholeness has no separations, no division, no this and that, no yes and no. And as a result, wholeness offers only the possibility of choiceless awareness. In choiceless awareness, you experience yourself as whole, as pure existence and pure consciousness. Realize that choiceless awareness sounds arcane, if not impossible. We're not used to relating to reality through the subjective objective, or we're used to relating to reality through the subjective objective split, that everything is a matter of A or B. It's either this or it's that. It's either yes or it's no. It's this piece over there that will make me whole here. That's not the way it works, guys. Deepak is saying, the master teachers have said it's already whole, and what we want to do is accept that. It's like when we pray, we're not trying to get something. What we want to do in our prayers is accept our wholeness, accept the truth of our being, accept the magnificence, and there are human conditions that make us say, boy, I don't feel very whole here. But it then becomes our opportunity to accept the truth of our being, which is spirit expressing. You want to honor that faith that is, that you want to be faithful to that something that is inside of you, that essence, that life force, that allness, and know that it shows up. And when it shows up, you want to be aware. See, that's the key here is an awareness. That's where the acceptance comes. I'm aware. I'm the observer of what's going on in my life. Now, this may not make sense to me. This challenge, this difficulty, this blockage may not be computing right now, but it can't be this and that makes whole. It can't be A plus B equals C. It's the relationship. So somehow what is coming to my awareness, I need to observe, to have that witness consciousness that the Buddhists talk about. I don't need to have to understand it in the moment, but I've got to see it, say, wow, isn't that interesting? I had an experience on Friday, which definitely caught my attention. I was getting out of my car, and I've got this big, long truck. It's like barely fits in the garage. It's probably because the garage is too small. But there's just a little room in the back, and there's about a foot in the front, so I can get by. And I was getting out of the car on Friday, and I was thinking, boy, I'm sure glad this, it's never rolled into the wall in front. It would go right into the bathroom, break all the pipes. Whoever was sitting down would be quite surprised, I'm sure. And it's like, I had this thought of, just crushing the wall. Maybe I need to get a board there in case I bump it or something. And I kind of went through it in my head, and then I was done with it. Saturday morning, I'm coming back from hiking with my son, Trevor, and he's chatting away like crazy, and the music is playing loud, and I'm trying to grab something. I get out of the car, and I step on the step to get down, and all of a sudden, I'm noticing the car is moving, and it's about to crash into the wall, but I had been through that experience the day before. I calmly got back in, and I put my foot on the brake, turned the car off, and everything was okay. Not that I told you that yet, Callie, but... It was like, whoa, but been there, done that, so it's not like I crashed into the wall that time because I had the experience the day before, and I just noticed it. I didn't overthink it, but see, that is kind of what can happen is we have experiences in our life, and I don't need to sit there in judgment. We try to be very unjudgmental with what's taking place in our life and around us. We observe, we notice this is what's going on. And when we come up to a closed door doesn't mean something bad just happened. Or if somebody has left your life, it doesn't mean it's a tragedy. It means somebody left your life. It means a door is closed. But I'll tell you, Spirit doesn't intend it to be bad, and it doesn't intend for it to make your life miserable, and it doesn't intend for it to be a tragedy. It intends to push you into that greater something that you're not available for because you have become comfortable just being where you are. How many people in this last year sitting at home kind of got used to it after a while? Kind of a little complacent. I'm not sure if I want to get back into the game, back into life. I kind of got used to working out of the house or not working. Or, sometimes life has to push us out of some of the friendships because I got no room for more friendships or relationships or business opportunities. And we have one of these classic examples. And see, it's all part of the whole picture, which is where I'm getting at with this. If we say it's this piece is bad and this piece is good, no. It's all part of the totality, the singularity, the oneness of it all. And can I understand it while I'm in it? So here's a good one. One of those Americana stories. Really one of the great inventors or brilliant minds of our generation, Steve Jobs. In the 70s, he and Steve Wozniak created this little upstart company called Apple. And, he was this genius, started at 21, at 23, it had established an international brand. He was globally known. The innovations, they came up with the mouse. They figured out how to do that. Remember your first laser printer? Laser printing started with Apple instead of that daisy wheel. Remember those? You got laser, state of the art. His company was innovative, skyrocketing, and he and the board got into a scuffle, and the CEO fired him from his own company. This kid started it. He's on top of the world, innovative genius, and gets fired from his own company. I tell you, he wasn't pissed off. Oh my goodness, he was telling his friends, it's not fair. But he decided self-pity wasn't the way to go. Once he gets it out, of course, you're human, man. You got a little upsetness going on in you, right? But part of the whole picture is getting it out and moving on. He had this creative genius, and he went on to start a new company called Next T. And he knew that Apple was missing the platform to do several of the things, so he developed this company where he was the CEO, president, main owner, founder, all those things. And he started to help out another guy by the name of George Lucas. You may remember Lucasfilms. He helped establish the visual effects part of that Star Wars kind of unfoldment that was going on at that point. And he came up with this animation. And his company that he started, founded, CEO, president, that whole thing. He's not letting go of the control this time, right? You learn. And it's called Pixar. And they did the first 3D computer animated generated animation picture called Toy Story. which went on to be a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and the next 2 decades just continued to work for Disney. Pixar and Disney were paired up when they came to animations. And yeah, huge success. And all of a sudden, though, Apple's tanking. Apple's going into bankruptcy. Their CEO is now history. They're begging him, come on, Steve, you started this thing. Come on back. He sells his Pixar thing for $7.4 billion. That was just the aside thing, because his baby was this Next X, which had the platform that he knew Apple would eventually need. And so with this platform, they came up with something called iPod, iTunes, iPhone, iPad, iMac, and it's just, and we know the story. But I share that because there's a whole picture that when we get caught up in a piece, when one door closes, it's not because Spirit's like trying to lock you out, it's pushing you into what's next for you. You've been doing something good and it's working in your life, you can become comfortable. Sometimes Spirit needs to do that little push, which was, which is really when that door closes, like with Jobs. I mean, I'm sure it was a blow to his ego. I mean, the world's seeing you as the champion. When something like that, the door closes, it's a blow to your ego, but not to your destiny. You are the one who has to honor your soul's agreement, your soul code, your soul's covenant. You came into this world, and all these little pieces are adding to the wholeness of your self-expression. And so if you get, sick or the body's not working, don't let it get in your way. It's the human experience, and there may be some human correlations as to why it's going on, but you know what? You're the one who's got to say, I'm getting back in this game here. This door is not going to stop me. I'm going to use it to dig down and say, I need to take better care of this body. I need to step into the game because I'm getting these divine ideas. And what I've come to learn is that electricity which inspires your dreams and your ideas is the same electricity that is the means. That's it. It's the electricity that inspires the means to fulfill those dreams which you have been given. And only you are the one who can do that. You're the one who says, I'm up for that. I'm willing to step into that. I'm going to be that. And there's going to be those around you who don't see that for you. Or they may see it, but they say, Christian, you're getting a little out there with your thinking, Why don't you come back down and deal with reality here? Don't you understand how much that's going to cost or who you're going to need, or whatever it is. But I'm here to tell you, I'm not to talk you down. Seaside is here to tell you to go for it, to honor your inner rock star, to listen to that you are the anointed one that we have been waiting for in this world. I am here to encourage you to get out on that window ledge of the ordinary and mock gravity, spread your wings, and fly in this life. We need you to do what you came here to do. Doesn't matter where you are at what point in your life, there's something inside of you. You can just feel it in your being. You've got to listen to that because those that are here to fly are not intended to crawl or to walk. There are those who will be inspired through fear or intimidation or the standard operating procedure. This is how we have done it before. But those that came here to fly, that know that there is more to the wholeness of their self-expression, are only going to be moved by the big picture, the big love, that's something that is inside of them. They're not here to do what has been done. They've come here to do something new, which is to heal, to transform, to uplift, and to bring that something to this world that we know not of yet. This is what you're here to do. And Seaside is here to inspire you to listen to that. It's in your bones. Can you feel that? You don't need a book, 6 Easy Steps to Wholeness. I'm not so big on those steps too. They make it sound like if you follow this, any person could be a billionaire by the end of the week. You don't need the steps when you got the moves. And you have got the moves. I've seen you all here dancing and moving and grooving. There is something that just loves moving through your soul's expression, your self-expression, your God expression. Our world hungers for what it is. People have been so clammed up for the last year. We need life. We need vitality. We need smiles. We need twinkling eyes. We need people dancing in the streets or at least on the beach again, because this is the time that humanity needs this life more than ever to get us out and trusting one another again. We have been taught to be in fear of each other. It is time to step out and know that we are all part of the totality and the wholeness of the expression of God, and that we're good for one another. Oh, man, where I'm going. So, part of the one, something Deepak wrote about in the book, in this chapter, once again, is that, you poke somebody with a pin, they go, ouch, right? And that's pretty common. But what's uncommon is that the 7 billion different responses you may get. You cannot robotize humanity, because what makes us unique is that there's always the possibility of a new vision, a new idea, a creative expression that is seeking to move through us. That we are part of a wholeness that is greater than anything that can be put in there. And so there are 7 billion different possibilities that are going to keep us from being just following blindly in ways of authoritarian, as Deepak writes about. Authoritarian regimes cannot robotize the human being, because there is a possibility always in 7 billion different ways for that spirit to express itself in ways that we know not of. I believe that we should always be using our common sense, but that we all have this uncommon genius, inner genius of our being. We might have common sense, but there's this inner genius that can show up in 7 billion different ways, and each one of those ways is needed to move us forward in a way that blesses us all. The rising tide, once again, lifts everyone. All of us are here to do our part and contribute to the whole picture, because all of us are part of the totality of it all. And as we begin to do that, I realize that the peace that I need to bring that about, the electricity that I said that inspired the dreams will inspire the means to that dream. That's something that is there. Ernest Holmes tells us that there is the whole infinite mind is present in its entirety in your every experience and your every idea in your mind. Yeah? It's present. The whole infinite mind is present in its entirety, in everything you do, in your every experience, and in every idea that comes to your mind. That's what you're drawing on. That's what you're pulling upon. That is your source. It's not something that is on the outside. You don't need validation from the outside. It says, oh, that's a good idea. I know if it's a good idea. You may not like my idea, but I know when it's a good idea. Don't tell me. You know if you're feeling better. No, you can't be feeling better. But yet people look to the outside of themselves. See, this whole philosophy is to stop looking outside of yourself for validation. It's not giving your power away to healers, to doctors, to saints, to sages, to gurus. The good ones say, hey, it's inside of you. The whole Hippocratic oath is about letting that healer within to do the healing. The great mystics say it is something inside of you. It's up to you to claim your wonderful spiritual expression, to allow the wisdom of your being out and to share it. We need more spiritual leaders in this world. We don't need another religion. We don't need another philosophy. We don't need another acronym that says ABC, whatever. What we need are individuals to be out in the world and living this expression, knowing that they're contributors and an expression of the wholeness of God for all of humanity to see. And it's your job to take it to your family and friends and your business and your places of practice and where you express yourself. We have been brought up to look for validation. The Wright brothers, when they were working on inventing the airplane, their dad was a fundamental preacher. He said, working on flying machines, that's the work of the devil. Man, good thing they didn't need parental validation at that point in their life. They had grown beyond the teenage spot. over in Fadima, Portugal, you know where they had two little girls and a little guy woke up in the middle of the night, walked to the hilltop, saw the Mother Mary, and came back and gave teachings, and people were healed for years. And after 6 months, they had 70,000 people watch the appearance of this blue light in the heavens and the sun. And so the church, after 100 years, finally said, yeah, that's a miracle. It took 100 years to get the validation. And so, and then over in Portugal again in the early 60s, they had another one. And Garanalda, that's close. Garanalda, Portugal. Anyway, a spot over there. 4 young girls, once again, had the vision. And all of a sudden, same thing, blue lights, teachings, healings. People would start gathering, and they'd gather and healing. People that were sick became well. Those who were blind could see. Those whose backs couldn't stretch, they could walk. Amazing things. But you know what? Church hasn't validated it. The Catholic Church says, I don't think so. It's not a miracle. It's like, are you kidding me? What else do you need here? Man, I'd say, hey, those are my girls, man. This is part of my thinking and philosophy. I'll claim them. It's like, why do you need to have that validated? Watch the investigative television show out of Australia of a young guy by the name of Charlie Goldsmith. 13, he came to realize he had these healing gifts. And in this show, they asked him, how does it work? He says, I don't know how it works. I just close my eyes and healing happens. And so they wanted to stump the kid, and they brought onto the TV show 5 extremely incapacitated individuals, people who couldn't walk. They brought this 11-year-old girl who's had juvenile arthritis since the age of 16 months, another lady who had pins in her back, and a medical doctor to validate the healings. Went on and he healed just about everybody on that show. And he got prominence because he would go into hospital wards. They'd ask him to come in when the doctors could no longer heal. And his healing rate was like 80%, they said. So they have this medical doctor on there. And this one guy who had pain for the last forever, all of a sudden his pain was gone. They brought up this girl who had this juvenile arthritis, who couldn't even step up onto a box, just pain in her jaws, and boom, healed. And they went to the medical doctor on the show and said, what do you think? And I said, well, being that the methodology cannot be validated, I have to invalidate this healing. And in the meantime, the camera pans on this girl crying, her mother's crying, the audience is crying, and she's dancing around the room. And people called in and said, well, does it sustain itself? They went back 6 weeks later to this girl, and she's doing her gymnastics and dancing to music. She's now does dance. They went to this other lady who had these 3 pins in her back spine. She couldn't get out of bed without pulling herself on the pole. She couldn't lift her leg. She's walking up and down steps 6 weeks later, better than she was when she first was able to take steps at all. And the guy says, well, I have to invalidate it because, but this isn't you. Remember they used to say, Jesus, you're not allowed to heal on the Sabbath? It's like, where does this come from? But it's a good thing you don't need validation from your parents or from the church or from the medical facility. You know if you're feeling good. You know if it's working. All you need to care about is not validation from there, but if God says you're good, and you're good. God bless us in that wholeness. See, part of the wholeness is there's more to it than our brain can grasp, but our brain doesn't like to have to deal in the realms where it cannot delineate or define. We have to be willing to step into this place where we haven't been before and to open up and realize that I've got to stop holding myself back. That's the only reason you're not experiencing more miracles, manifestation, greater abundance, greater health in your life is because there's something inside you that says this is about as far as I'm comfortable going. This is as far as I think I can maybe stretch a little beyond. And all of a sudden, I watch people time and time again talk themselves out of amazing experiences because, well, I need to be realistic here. Yeah? It's realism, Christian. Don't you get it? I'm being real. These are the facts. Well, they may be the earthly facts, but you know what? You are coming from that spiritual kingdom. I say we got to have faith to that which is within us, and that which is within us is greater than that which is on the outside of us. There is something more, and you've got to claim it and proclaim it. Ernest Holmes, Marv, you want to put this slide up? He writes in his book on page 189, for all you at home who have your textbook, because I don't see anybody here, but you at home can check this out. It said, God never compromises with opposites. The one practicing must be able to look a fact in the face and know that all manifestations are effect and can be changed by changing the mental cause. We must be able to look at the sick person who has come for help and know that only perfection stands before us. We must see beyond the appearance to that which is basically perfect. Truth knows no opposites. Yeah, except no. Truth knows no opposites. Yeah, but don't you see the facts that are here? Truth knows no opposites. Should I say it one more time? Or you got it? You know, yeah, we're dealing with the wholeness. Now, I'm not saying you don't listen to the common sense and run what's going on in your life through the filters, but I also want you, as I said, to remember that uncommon inner genius that is not bound by the earthly facts that are there. There's something in you that is greater. It's called God. It's called Spirit. It's called life. It's the first cause. The all-initiating cause is that which matches. It's that which can look at a condition and say, you know, pick up your bed and walk. It is not bound. Wholeness is the natural state. It's not something I need to take so I can be whole. It is the acceptance. It is the revealing of the silver, the gold that is under the tarnish, that is under the human condition. Got that? I started today. It's about acceptance. It's not creation. It's not making it happen. It's not finding the missing puzzle piece. There is nothing missing to you now. But Christian, you got to be real. Okay, stick with that one if you got to. But I'll tell you, I'd rather go for it and fail and live in the doghouse than in a house too small that's a dollhouse. Yeah, you know, rather be in the doghouse than the small dollhouse, if you would. You know, I am willing to step out there on that window's edge and spread my wings, and I either fly or I don't. But it's not the end of the world. I learn, I grow, I evolve. I begin to say, okay, what is part of the totality of this picture, of my experience, of what I am here to do? Am I doing that? Am I risking all to do that, to be that, to express that, so my world can reflect back the allness that supports that which I am stepping into? If I don't step, that's not stepping back to me. I'm the one who's got to say, okay, but I've got to be willing to go because there's some people who are happy not to fly, as I said. You know, to buy a nice house and to fix up their fence and have a barbecue on the weekend and plan the summer trip, you know, to the lake. And that's beautiful. But they don't know what it's like to have that unnamed gravitational pull inside the chorus of voices that are telling you to go for it. The feeling of a claustrophobia, unfulfilled potential that is just stuck in there, that is going down. There's something inside of us that wants to be more than just doing life, wants to be that something we came to be, that want to be the brand, who wants to win the Oscar or the Pulitzer or the Grammy or whatever it is that we're going for. We're not content with just turning on the news. We want to be the news. This is what is potential for us in our life. If we're willing to say, oh, stop being realistic, Christian, you got to say, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to be loud. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be bold and loud about what it is I have to share, because you know what? I'm here. This is where I've got my awareness right now. I'm sure there's a lot more of me somewhere else, but I know this part I'm aware of, and this is where I can pull that other possibility and potential into expression. I get to be the differentiator of the infinite. I get to be the place where, as Spirit moves, healing happens. This infinite intelligence that guides the universe sure doesn't need me to tell it to fix my knee. When Spirit is moving through me, my knee gets fixed. Abundance flows. Health happens. Vitality is there. The cells of my body are just enlivened, animated. My immune system is rock solid. I am God's expression of life. And watch out, because life is going to be happening all around me. This is the stance I'm going to take, and this is where I'm going to go. I'm going to let the world know, but I got to be willing to share that wherever I go, and there's going to be those that are going to carry that. See, you are an inspirer of the light and the Word of God. You know, Jesus, when he went to the well in Samaria. It is a town or a village or an area that the Jews did not respect. And the fact that he went there and there was a woman at the well, you may remember the story, and they started talking. For a woman to talk to a man is a very unusual thing, and that Jesus was open to that culture was another unusual thing. So it's an unusual happening in that moment. And she says, do you want some water? Because it's at the well and he has no cup. And he says, I have some living water. And that's great, but are you thirsty? You want some real stuff? And she said, living water, I heard that the Messiah is supposed to be arriving, coming. And it's the first time it is said that he says that I am the Messiah. And then what's interesting is she gets really excited and she says, wow, that's wonderful. And he says, I want you to go tell your husband. She said, well, I don't have a husband. He said, well, I know that. I know you've had 5 husbands. And the one you're living with now is not your husband. And it's like, at first, you're like, wow, this is, he's revealing. But she gets up, she gets excited, and she goes out. And what he recognized, at least this is what I got when I first heard the story, is that he realized, women in that era were very timid in conversation with men. He needed somebody who was very comfortable around men and people, who could talk it up and knew how to be and to express herself and let the world be known. He didn't need some timid little shy person who was following the common sense law of the day. He needed somebody who was bold, brave, brash, and willing to get out there and share the word that, we're not bound by what was. There's a Messiah, there's a new thought, there's a Christ consciousness, there's a light that is coming to the world. We have got to step out and go for it. I am. How about you? So, this morning, I guess I want to just leave you. Wholeness is something that Deepak talked about, you're unaware. It's just something, when you're in wholeness, you're not thinking this piece, that piece, fix this, fix that. You're in relationship with all the different pieces, seeing them come together. And so when you have got something stirring in your soul and your bones are just vibrating with your creative expression, don't allow that littling mind to come in and say, oh, Christian, you got to be realistic about that. I want you to listen to your inner rebel and just go for it with all the passion that is possible. God bless us as we change this world for the better together. Love you. Hey, let's keep it going as we bring Rosemary back to our stage.
Oh my gosh. Is this thing on? Is it on? I am so grateful to be here today. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you, Dr. Christian. What a wonderful, but you're stuck with me, I think. I think I might be coming back, so clear a chair. When I heard the message was whole, perfect, and complete, I started singing a little melody in my head, and it went to the tune of Love Potion number 9. But I changed it a little bit, so help me remember the words. Perfect.
This is
Thank you, Dan.
Rosemary Watson. Woo! She gave up LA to be down here in San Diego 14 years ago, and how blessed we are to have that. Thank you for finding Seaside. We've been waiting for you. And it's the first time Rosemary's been out singing in a year. How did that feel?
There I am. It feels great. I was definitely nervous, but I pushed through it, and hearing you really helped clear those cobwebs away. Thank you.
You're wonderful. Rosemary Watson, thank you. Woo. All right. I'm still dancing up here in that vibe. Anyway, hey, this is the time of our service. We have the opportunity to give our offering. And as you give, it pours back into your life. As you give, it's an extension of your consciousness. You become the activity that Spirit is having. Is God having an abundant activity as your life? Feel the richness that pours back, the peace, the joy, the security that comes when you come to know your source. It's given one spot and it shows up everywhere. The health, the family, the relationships, the career, the creativity, it's all part of the totality, the singularity of God, of Spirit. So we pause every week and say, this is the time in which you get to give, but you don't really get to do it yet. On your way out, you can catch the baskets. But those of you at home, this is really for you. And, we got the buttons. You got your Venmo. You got your Breeze. You got your PayPal. You got your, there's a bunch of ways. I don't even know them. I still write my checks by hand. But thank you to those that are part of the auto tithe. That, there are like 180 families that just said, count me in for the regular flow from my world to yours. It's called auto tithe. They set themselves up so they don't have to think about it. Just every week or every month it moves. 256 families say, count me in. I'm just a pledger. My heart goes out with gratitude every week. I just feel it. The letters that come in, it's what carried us through the last year. And what's going to carry us through the next decades is all of us coming together as one whole family and supporting the unfolding vision of doing Spirit's work, of the healing, of the transformation, of opening up our youth program again. I see by summertime, we're going to have our junior church happening again. So, good news, isn't it? Anyway, I'd like to share with those our affirmation of abundance, which is Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Guys from Seaside. Bob Mathis blowing that saxophone. That is Harley there on that bass fiddle. That is Paul there on those skins. And Max on the Paul Lloyd Warner Busendorfer. Great job. Speaking of great jobs, Rosemary, thank you. You were fabulous this morning. Come on back. Rebecca, we love you. Thank you for taking such good care of us. We'll miss you next week. We'll give our love to your mom for sure. Giving us sound today is Matthew. Nice job, Matthew. Giving us the visuals is Marv. We've got behind the cameras Tim. We got Edwin. And in the sound booth, or not sound booth, the editing room, splicing all this together is Tom Scholler and Steve Grant. You can't see them, but I know they're there. And so you can share this live streaming with your friends. This is not to be held in a confidence. Share it. Get the word out. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it at midnight. Just know that we do a lot of work to get that live streaming up. It's on Facebook. It's on our website. Go back, see if I got that quote right. Check it out. And but there's a lot going on. Christine, I just see you jumping, making noise. Christine, you did the Labyrinth yesterday, right?
We did.
Here, you want a microphone right there?
Sure.
Probably got to turn that on, right?
Hello? Okay. Good morning, Seaside.
Morning.
So for those of you who didn't know, yesterday was International Labyrinth Day, and so I led something up in the labyrinth. For those of you who don't remember, we have this gorgeous labyrinth right up there. We had about 7 to 10 people, and we had 3 kids. And Christian, I didn't get to tell you, my favorite part is these kids had tons of energy, and they wanted to run up on the stage. They're like, there's plants, where are the birds? Like, they thought this was a show at the Wild Animal Park. It's like, no, then not quite.
We got nature.
We got nature, but I was just appreciating the park here, and we have such a beautiful property here at Seaside.
Yeah,
So thank you for letting us use it, and blessings to the school. And if we can just take a moment to rub our hands together and just send love to the youth and to the caregivers of youth during COVID, families and teachers. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Grateful, grateful, grateful.
All right.
And so it is.
All right, so it is. Thank you. Whew. That's good. Hey, we also had that used book sale. We got any books left, Debbie? We got hundreds out there. Help yourself on the way out. Just find them, grab them. We got to unload them. So make sure you take bags home with you. And of course, the magazine. I don't know if there's any of those left. Debbie got a few extras for this time, but I know the first service gobbled them up. I'm every day. May, if you want to put up with me. It's different than what I mail to you every day. So if you're getting my daily inspiration, this is different for sure. So lots going on. I'm just excited. Seaside's opening. All our chairs are filled in here today. A good thing we got the prerequisite off. It's fun and it is growing. It is alive. Seaside is birthing. Our bookstore is going to be open next week. I saw Lisa yesterday just cleaning it up, opening it up in there. You had Barb in there working. It's just things are coming back. They're happening. It's Valerie was here yesterday, Callie and the Seaside sisters. It was just, it's good. Seaside is happening again. So thank you for holding the vision and having it be so. And it all is a result of prayer. We have spiritual practitioners who pray daily for us. We have prayer requests that go in our prayer request chest or they get mailed to us. The practitioners pray on them daily for the week, if not 2. And they're available right after the service. You used to be able to sit down with them, but we can't do that anymore, supposedly, because you're not allowed to heal on the Sabbath. But we've gotten around that. We now do it Zoom. They're waiting in a private room for you. So you can have private prayer with a spiritual practitioner. As soon as I get done and yakking up here, you get to say, hey, I got this thing going on. And Christian says, wholeness is the truth, so I'm willing to accept it. Let's reveal it. And abundance is yours. Magic is yours. Relationship and intimacy is yours. It's like, it can be that easy. It really can. So they're trained for sure. And after service, if you want to know more particulars, Reverend Debbie is doing this basic beliefs. You just go to the website, you click on the Zoom room, say, hey, Deb, how's it going? And 45 minutes of her and you and whoever else is there about the basics of our philosophy. Wednesday night, our midweek service, 7 o'clock. Good's going on. I got to pray because I can keep talking about, the things that are happening at Seaside are there for us. And I can feel the love. I mean, I didn't even talk about sacred circles that are this week based on the talk. It's like Seaside, there's a life. And it's because individually, the members and the friends of this community is putting the principles into action. And the individual expressions of light, life, love, trust begin to come together in a synergistic orb of the greater collective that raises all the ships in the harbor. That individually we give what it is we've got to share, and all of a sudden collectively it's profound. The totality, the wholeness of God. That which was in the beginning, perfect, whole, and complete. That which breathed expression into our awareness. That mother-father essence of life itself. Feel that something that is divine. It's grace, it's light, it's lightness, it's joy, laughter, International Laughter Day. What a great world we live in. We got a day dedicated to laughter, joy, the infallible sign of the presence of God. This is the God nature, and you're part of the God nature, which means all that we consider as the nature of God is our nature. Feel it, sense it. Let it reverberate through your field of awareness, your body, your mind, your emotion, your energetic field, that which is within and without the body. You're part of the whole. And it's in the realization of this, healing happens. I don't need to tell the infinite what it needs to do. I need to get my littleness out of the way. Got to get out of that dollhouse and be willing to live large and not say, oh, let me tell you rationally, Christian, let's be real here. No, my reality is God. It is the divine. It is the perfection. It is the abundance. It is the life force. It is emotion. I am in that flow. I am part of the Tao. I am part of the way. I am the way, that light for this world. And I choose to step boldly knowing that I have been called for a time such as this, just as each and every one of us has. And our littleness and our aches and our pains and our fears do not belong in what we have been called to do. Let it go. Just do that. Let it go. Just shake it off in this moment and open up space for the emergence, the expansion of the life force. And healing happens. Not because I tell it what to do, but healing happens because that is what it does. It purges and neutralizes that which is not part of the divine vibration of being. The relationships become magical, become our laboratory for intimacy and honesty, truth. We find the courage to bring forth our creative expression, to stand boldly and let our light sing for the world to hear, to see. Abundance is the natural state. We live in an abundant universe. Allow this to be the matching vibration that all that is enough in your life, my life, our life, Seaside's world is already so. There is nothing lacking. So I lift my gaze ever higher. And I live in the light. I am a reflection and a transparency of God made manifest. My countenance shines with spirit. And all who is within our field of influence, our orb of expression, feels your light and your presence. They know that you have been with this source, this wellspring, this living water. And healing happens. Every prayer request that has been brought forth to Seaside, I know has been fulfilled. It's finding the most direct means of expression in the requestees' lives. For a dear friend of Seaside, one of our, if not our first outside speaker 30 years ago, Jeff Salz, University professor, wild guy, who made his transition this week. His partner, Lisa, is down in Ecuador. He finds the strength and the courage and love and community supporting her. For Jeff moves on to a new adventure, rock climber, mountain climber, expedition, horseback rider through Mongolia. Led my group friends to Tibet. Profound journeyer, explorer, continues his exploration. And those left behind, the tribe, they just know one of their lights had gone before them. And for another friend, a Seaside past board president who I just heard made her transition a little while ago, Jane Duffy, that she moves on with the currents of eternality, has found a peace, a joy, a sense of well-being. And for anyone who's reached out to Seaside in prayer and consciousness, I know that reaching finds an open door in the light in the hands of God, reaching forth and pouring forth the blessings. The shift takes place, the openness is honored, and healing is manifested in the most perfect, appropriate, and right ways in our individual lives. I'm grateful to know this, to see it, to proclaim it. I'm filled with gratitude for the words we've spoken, that they're the truth, finding immediate expression, though perfect timing within our individual lives, with a richness and a joy, a peace and a deep security that I'm able to let it go. It's not mine to make anything happen. That old way of forcing is no longer there. It's big ideas, big dreams, big inspiration, and big love has its way. So I let go to that with an unshakable conviction and a deep faith in that higher expression of God that has its way now in our life. I let go, let God. So it is.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. struggling just to make it through another day. You got to let it go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Say no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm. In over a year you couldn't sing this. Come on, sing with us. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only. That's right. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for
All right. I love it. Hey, our affirmation for the week is I am perfect, whole, and complete now. Together, I am perfect, whole, and complete now. Touch your heart and say it again. I am perfect, whole, and complete now. One more time, like it's your truth. Come on. I am perfect, whole, and complete now. See you next week. I love you. Bring some friends back with you.